What is up, guys? Ian here from Co-Create Today. Co-create with me so we can create a better tomorrow. Today, I just want to talk about responding to negativity and what are the best ways to do so and what negativity really means in your life and a good way to look onto it. So, so many of us live our day, and a lot of the times negative things can come up and ruin our day. But what if I told you that some people respond to negativity different, and actually that negative energy and negative situation doesn't ruin their day, it potentially makes them stronger for tomorrow. And consciously they see that and never let it hurt them, and never let them that negative experience take them down to a lower vibratory rate. I know that negative experiences can be really hard, and I personally I've had a lot of anger and hatred in my life before, and when I said I'm sorry and when I released all that anger and fear, my life took a whole nother route, and it became so more abundant and so more blissful ever since I let go of all that hate and anger. Now, why do we have this hate and anger? Now, it is part of our learning curve, and it's inevitable. It needs to be there so you can tell what is a good time only because you can decipher it from the bad. See, negativity derives from the ego, and it also derives good. Now, the ego discerns good and bad, but in all actuality, it's neither. William Shakespeare once said, "Nothing is neither good or bad, but thinking makes it so." And when you direct that mindset of negativity onto something, you're bringing it down, and you're really sucking all the energy out of it and not letting it raise you to a higher level of consciousness. It's not helping you anyway. So negativity basically is an ego mindset, you could say. It's a perception of the ego. And when we can let go of this negativity of the ego and realize it's just a test, it's just something that is going to come up and we're going to live through it no matter what, then we're able to really look at it at a different perspective. Now, when negative things happen in my life, I don't get caught up in it because I realize that it's nothing to worry about. And that's another ego thing. The ego is always in the past or in the future. Now, the ego never resides in the present, and when you can enter that moment of power, which is the now, all that negativity and egotic mindset disappears because it can't exist. And really what I do, and I encourage everyone to do, is to become more present in times of negativity, in times of crazy situations. I was at work yesterday, and there was this one worker in the kitchen who just really doesn't get along with anybody, and I was trying to get salad dressing for another coworker for her table, And I just was like, you know what, I need to get this. I need to do it now before it's too late. So I went out there and I just grabbed one of the dressings that they asked for. However, it wasn't for her. I took out the lid and I just walked away and I dropped it off. But when I got back, he literally freaked out on me. He was screaming in my face and like saying all his profound language. I don't know what he said necessarily. It was Spanish. But as he's yelling at me, I became present. I'm like, is this me or him? Who's gonna be the bigger one? Like, am I gonna react with the same energy and get to his level, or is he going to yell at me and hoping that he can bring me down? So either way, that situation, if I reacted to it, would have brought me down. And I just literally just stood there. I'm like, I did the best I could. I try to think efficiently and effectively, and it got me in that situation. And you know what? I couldn't care. I was just like, all right, man. Like, and I literally said, okay. Walked away. I didn't give any emotion. I didn't give any reaction. I just let it be, and I just walked away. I have no idea what he said. It was very broken English and a lot of Spanish. So that definitely helped in my reaction, because I just didn't care. I wasn't going to let myself, I wasn't going to sabotage myself to that situation, to that thing. It was really it wasn't important at all. It literally was the least significant thing that you should be yelling for someone about. So that was an example for me of how I just didn't respond to it. I was present enough to realize he's in a really negative space. I'm conscious enough to not let myself down to those levels. So it is what it is, and I'm just gonna go. And that's what I did. And I have no regrets, and I feel pretty good, because I'm not back there. I may have told that story, but I'm not being haunted by those thoughts. I've let go of the ego, and I've learned that keeping reminding myself of negative things that are drowning me of my abundance isn't worth it. It's not. It doesn't make me feel good, so why would I even bother thinking about it? And I know that there are situations where you cannot stop thinking about what you did. You cannot stop thinking. And personally, yeah, it does suck, but when you go deeper in the present moment and you look at yourself and you're like, what's wrong with me? I don't feel anything. I feel pretty good. It's just in my thoughts. It's just my head that's not wrong. So another thing that's really helped me is just to go through my just physical body and just feel my emotions. My emotions may actually feel a little slump, but my body is not in harm. It's not in danger. However, my head is the case where it's causing all the problems, and you can let go of that by becoming more present and potentially meditating on that. The last one that I want to talk about is to use it as a motivator. Use that negative experience as a motivator. I know I don't get along with my manager at my job as well, and when I get in weird situations with him where I feel very fired up and he's using his power to control me and do whatever egotic thing he wants to do. When I realize that it's just a test, it's something for me that I need to grow out of, and I need to build that skill set that can deal with that, so I can actually build something for myself and walk away from there. So what I'm trying to explain is, when negative things happen in my life, especially at my job, those are only motivators for me to go out and build a bigger asset and work harder in my business so I can walk away from that job. So I'm using it, what is it called? Negative learning. It's where you learn best from negative situations. But I mean, that's how it is at work. When I have a terrible day and have a really bad experience with my managers, it only makes me want to retire and work harder so much more. And that's a great place to be. And I encourage everyone to find their why, so they can really find more whys and more motivators to work towards such things. And letting go of that ego. You know, a great book is called The New Earth by Eckhart Tolle, and that book talks all about the ego and like the dissolving of the ego and what Earth without egos would look like. And it's a beautiful book, and I really encourage you to read it if you want to learn more about dissolving that ego and really understanding what the ego is. And we use the ego to live this life, to for you to know my name is Ian, and for you to connect and have relationships, you do need the ego. But discerning whether something's positive or negative isn't really important, because the original use of the ego for survival is not really needed anymore. We're not being faced by death every single day of our lives anymore. We're literally civilized individuals trying to make something out of ourselves. But when we define ourselves through that ego, it only takes away from our signature. It's really hard to explain, but the idea of it is, like, the more you try to define it, the less definition you have. Like, here's a good example. Words are really like naive ways to describe things, because they're basically telling you what something isn't. When I look at a gong, you know, the little circle thing, Chinese thing, and you hit it, it goes tong, wong, 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 wong. Well, when I tell you it's a gong, that's a lot different than me actually hitting it and having the gong express itself. I'm not able to do that for you through my ways of communication. And that's just one example of how trying to define it is actually taking away its meaning and becoming less descriptive. But that is just kind of a sidetrack. The ego is very important into reacting to negativity, and I really encourage you to gain that level of awareness so you can realize that it is a test, and things do happen in your life so you can grow and so you can work harder in your true ambitions. And when you do that, you're able to build such a beautiful personality that nothing can take you down. And that's the goal, is to really be an abundant being where negativity is something that doesn't affect you. because it's something that can make you grow. So I hope you guys took something from this video. I know it was a little crazy, but I hope you guys like it. Please subscribe if you're looking for more videos like this. Other than that, hope you guys got a great day looking ahead of you, and I'll catch you later. See you guys.